Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to That Checks Out, coming to you pre-recorded from the beautiful studio of Audiohive Podcast Studio with my host here, Damon Procchio. Brian's the guy over there you can't see because you're listening to it. And my name is Ted. Damon, what do we got today?
Hey, so we're going to catch up because we did something together last week.
Did do something together.
Yeah, and I think that story needs to be told because it was quite a fiasco.
Yeah, that's a fantastic story. It started out with, hey, you do anything after the podcast? Maybe it's over like 1-ish? Because we record in the morning. We're usually done here between 10 and 11, depending on how much we BS after the show.
Yeah.
And Damon's like, hey, you free until about 1?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well, that seems, I can give you my morning. That seems good. I'm going to jump ahead so Damon can go back, but cut to me getting home around 5:30, I think. Ish.
But that sounds about right.
Yeah. What did we do last week, Damon?
We picked up a stove for a friend of ours, a friend of mine, who you know.
Yeah, who wanted to, at one point, go to a restaurant and get pancakes with me.
Correct.
The guy that pranked me from episode, 6, 7, 8?
He was your stalker.
Yeah, somewhere
Correct.
back then.
So
My stalker, Jim.
So he had a...
Wait, we're not saying names? Can we say Jim?
Yeah. Some guy.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Guy.
Some guy named Jim. Some guy.
Yeah. But, so no, we went to pick up a stove he had bought in Lombard, which we're in Joliet. So that was 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we took the long way because
we had to kill time.
We had to kill time
because it turns out we thought we'd be probably wrapped up. I figured we'd be leaving Jim's house by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, that we're picking it up from, she goes, you can be at my house at 1. I was like, oh, no.
No. Yeah, because we were so efficient last week. We finished recording about 10:15.
Yeah, we actually got lectured by Brian. You guys still have 7 minutes left. Remember that last week?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, at the end of last week, he's like, you guys still have 7 minutes.
Well, I think he was hoping that we would go a little longer, have to cut some stuff, get paid more.
Right, yeah.
Guys, you still have time.
Throw down some more drabble that nobody's going to want to listen to and you're going to cut out later.
Cut out some more dead air. Come on, let's go.
But so we got some breakfast and then we went brunch.
Wait, we can't skim over that. Because we go to breakfast. I'm not going to say where. We went to a local place. But support your mom and pops right now, people. Just do that.
Yeah.
Like, they need it. First off, it was in a place where there's, not seating people close together. That's how it is right now. That's fine. But they gave us two gentlemen a table for 9.
Yeah.
So Damon and I were like having a formal dinner where we were ringing the bell and talking. Yes, can you pass this note to him at the other end of the table, please?
Yeah.
Let him know I would like the salt.
They needed like a big tin man standing there, you know what I mean, with a suit of armor. Because that's like the size of the table we were at. It was like Knights at a Round Table.
And we were done with our initial food. And that's a hint for what's coming out of my mouth next. We were done with our initial food by probably 11, early 11. 15, 11, 10, so we still had a lot of time. So the waitress came and said, are you good? You need more coffee? And I said...
Could I interject 1 second, though?
Oh, please.
So you got some more coffee because that was like our second visit really ever by the lady to our table. But one of us, this trip, just so you know, spoiler alert, one of us got an additional...
I was telling this
additional item. I know that's where you're going.
That's where I'm going.
But I just want to point out that one of us, not both of us, one of us, and if you were to bet right now and pause it and tell your friend who you think it is, I bet you're wrong. Go ahead, Ted, continue.
So, as you know, here in the studio, I had a couple cups of delicious 10 Drops coffee.
Yeah.
The official provider of coffee for Audiohive Podcast Studio. Call Brian.
Yeah. Call him.
So she said, you want another cup of coffee? And I said, yeah, actually I would. I'll take another cup. But we're trying to kill some time, so I'll have a refill on those pancakes if you don't mind. Knowing full well we're going to pay for the extra pancakes. I don't know if she knew that I knew that, but that... So yeah, I doubled down. I had a double dose of Flappies last week.
Yeah.
Still feeling it now. But the mistake I made was telling the waitress that we were trying to kill time.
Yeah, that we were killing time. We're not in a hurry.
We went into a pocket dimension after. Well, she brought the pancakes, but after the pancakes showed up, we went into a pocket dimension after that because they couldn't see us. They didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
Because remember, we're at a table for legitimately 6 people. We had pushed all of our dishes, everything to the edge. Like we can't even touch them anymore. We have our arms crossed. We're not even talking to each other. They're still just walking by. Like I don't know if they're ready to go yet.
Yeah,
I don't think they need the check.
Well, and she stopped coming by. Either that or she like wore a ghillie suit and crawled on the floor, and I never saw her. I mean, I was just like, where did this lady go? It was amazing, And then all of a sudden,
we started asking if we could build a fort. We wanted to know.
Yeah. We said maybe we should lean our table sideways, put our table on its side, so they know that I'm like, we're going to do that. We need some pillows and blankets. We're going to build a fort.
At the end, she came up with jokes because she's like, oh, is it 1 ticket or 2? And I point to you immediately. And she walks off and comes back, and she comes back with a check, and she hands it to you because she's like, oh, he pointed to you, so I guess this is yours.
Right.
Oh, now you got jokes, lady?
Right.
Now it's funny?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, tip her well. I like her.
Yeah. The 3 times I've seen you, this is what you think we're on this kind of basis. But again, like you said, support your mom and pop, and it wasn't so busy that
Yeah,
that should
the
have
food was
happened.
good, and we weren't in a rush. We weren't like trying to flag her down.
Right.
We were just, since we had time to kill, we were.
It was more of a game.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were playing the game to see like how long is it gonna
Yeah,
be.
it became a game. It really did. It became a game of the 2 fat guys are still here, and
It was
when
probably a
are we
game for
leaving?
them. Like,
Yeah.
which one of them is gonna order more pancakes?
Yeah.
That guy's already got 2 in him. I don't know if he can do a third, but that guy looks like he could have some more.
Yeah. Yeah. One of them's gonna have a grabber. They're leaving on a gurney. One of them's gonna have
All right. What's the over under? And one of them asking for a set of flappies with wheels. Yeah. Who's gonna want some on the fly?
brown paper bag, just flappy sticking out the top.
Yeah, like the baguette in every like movie and TV
right.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, they went grocery shopping. There's a loaf of bread coming out.
Yeah. But yeah, so by the way, this whole story is about us getting a stove.
Oh yeah, right.
So
we were getting a stove. I forgot.
So we get the stove. We get
Oh,
to their we get
you
to their
gotta
house.
back up.
Yeah, we get
Yeah.
to their house, and when we walk in, and we walk actually like the door goes into their kitchen. So it goes into their kitchen, and they don't have a garage because it's like that's where the garage used to be.
Can we set the scene a little bit more? Because first
Yeah.
off, it's like by the time we're leaving the restaurant, it's like 1:45 and you're like, hey, we're up a little early. Can you make it? And she's like, well, 1's pretty good.
Yeah,
And we're like, okay, we'll be there at 1 then. And then she like enjoys that text. She thumbs it up.
right.
We get there right at 1. What we didn't say is that, yes, it's a former garage. It's now a kitchen. So right in front of that door is a driveway full of cars that are stagger parked.
4 cars.
Yeah. So they're not in a line where you can just go down the side of them. One's to the left, one to the right, next one to the left, next one to the right, like some sort of like.
And there's 8 inches of snow mound
Yeah.
on the side of the driveway. Yeah.
Basically, they have had from whenever Jim set up the stove pickup to 1 o'clock to
Yeah.
set up a path from the street to their house.
But the path wasn't the worst part.
Oh, I know. That's the part you're going to tell because
Ted's
I
like-
was still outside. I'm like, I'm going to wait
Ted's
outside.
like, I was there. I know.
I'm going to wait outside.
So-
Damon walks in.
So I walk in their house, and I got a mask on because we don't know each other. I walk in there, and I literally stand in their kitchen, and they said, "Okay, we'll take a look at the stove." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, where's the stove?" And the lady literally points to the hole in her cabinets where the stove sits, because there's the stove, and I can see the time is lit up on it. So that's the stove. And I go, and I literally, this is when Ted's like opening the door. I go, what did I say?
Yeah, here's the thing. This is what I hear. Is the stove. Oh, it's right there. And so I'm still shutting the door like, oh, it's connected?
Yeah. If I didn't have my mask on, they would have probably totally saw the amount of sarcasm, ignorance, and everything else that was in my voice. So I was like, so you're literally, are we interrupting? Are you making muffins now? Do we need to wait for the stove to cool down?
Yeah, we brought like moving gloves.
Yeah.
But we needed like the oven glove.
Do we need the oven glove? Like
Yeah.
4 of those? Is this going to be hot?
You guys
know?
have oven mitts? Because I don't know if these like gloves that I brought are going to work. And
Yeah.
you were like, hey, so do you have another one ready to put in?
Yeah. Oh, so I literally asked him, like, we take it out to the vehicle. I pay the money for Jim, and we take it out to the van, and I'm putting it in the back. And I walk back up, and she goes, you got everything? I said, yep. And I said, hey, do you have another stove here to put in? Because my thought is, wouldn't they already have the other stove put in, and this one would have been sitting off to the side, right?
Right.
And she goes, no, we're going to go get one now. Take it from a man who has bought appliances recently. You are not going to go buy one now and carry it home. Okay, unless you do some kind of weird. If you're the world's best shoplifter and you think you can get one out of Lowe's, then have at it.
Maybe-
But I'm going to tell you,
Maybe they're going to go to Craigslist. Maybe they're stove flippers.
yeah, that's all.
They're stepping up.
We
Like,
missed the
yeah.
camera crew.
Yeah,
We missed the camera.
They're stepping up.
I felt like we were on Punked. I didn't
Yeah.
feel like we were on stove flippers, but it was great. So we got it to Jim's house, got it unloaded. But remember, we back. Jim goes, "Hey, back up by the fence." So I back up by the fence. I back up, and all of a sudden, I stop, and I go, "Oh man," because I didn't see anything in the yard. I go, "Man, I hope I didn't hit nothing." And me and Ted get out. We didn't hit nothing. We're like, "We'll just carry it from here. It's fine. We'll go a little farther." So we get it out. We put it back around where it's supposed to go. Then we're going to move, and the van don't want to move. And I'm like, man, I'm stuck in his yard. I don't want to dig his yard up. And so I roll the window down and I holler to him. I go, hey, is there anything I said, is there anything I should have been watching for over here? He goes, well, there is that stump. And I go,
Right. We're literally like, and
I go,
and Damon's like, I don't know what I'm on. And Jim's like, oh, yeah, well, there is the stump over there.
and I looked at him and I go, you mean the stump that would have been nice to know about before I backed into your yard full speed to go to your fence?
And he's like, well, I didn't know you were that far over.
Yeah. So I was
How big do you think your yard is, Jim?
I was laughing. So I get out and I'm like, no damage, and just a little line on the top of the stump, so you can see that's where I drug. But
your tire just dropped to the other side of this, like maybe 3-inch high stump because it had been cut off. So we just couldn't see it because I even got down on the ground and looked. And I'm like, you're not on anything. You're fine.
Yeah. No, it was.
Nope, you were on the stump.
It was amazing. So, because I came in hot because we were getting stuck. There's a little bit of snow ridge by the road.
Right.
And I wanted to make sure we were good. So we're, because I'm not driving a 4-wheel drive truck. I was driving a minivan, But it was hysterical. He's like, oh, there is that stump. And I'm like, But no, Ted's right. So when we were all done with this, that's probably about 3:30 there.
Yeah.
But then you got a bonus on the way back.
Well, I want to back up once to when we were picking up the stove because you forgot the funny part where the guy was like, yeah, it's still connected. I need to disconnect it. Let me go get my tools. He goes out and he gets into a car and starts backing out. And we're like, wait a minute.
Like he's leaving.
Yeah. Like his tools are somewhere in West Chicago or something.
Where's your tools? They're at the store with the new stove.
Yeah.
I'm going to go buy them right now.
They're at some store.
Yeah. So, I forgot about that.
So we're leaving and then I don't know if anyone knows this, but I've mentioned it maybe once or 1,000 times in this podcast that my favorite pizza is from Aurelio's. And they sell their sauce jarred now, but you can get it at some of the restaurants, but they also sell it in select stores. And every time I look it up, it's on the far east side of Illinois because they're based out of Homewood. Everything's over there. I'm always like, I'm going to look it up, see if it's near me, and I'll go pick some up. And every time I look it up, I'm like, oh. So we're driving through Beecher, I think, Illinois.
Yeah,
and I see this grocery store. I'm like, that name strikes me as familiar. I know that grocery store.
And I loved it because it was Walt's.
Yeah, it was Walt's. I'm like, I can't figure out why, but we need to go in there, and it was because they had the sauce. So, but here's the best part. You're right. To Jim's credit, he paid you back for the money that you took out to pay the lady cash for the stove.
Yeah.
We jokingly told him that he owed us for lunch because we had to kill time. He paid for that.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot about that. That was nice because he's trying to give us money, and I'm like,
we weren't doing it for money.
I don't want your money.
We weren't doing it for money. We were doing it because you help friends out.
Yeah.
So Damon got the money back for the stove. He got his money back for lunch.
Yeah, I begrugingly took it, but I said if you want to, I said you can buy us breakfast. It was like $40. So
the only person that did not get the money back was the guy who paid for the tip.
the guy who tipped, and I forgot we're leaving there, and all of a sudden it like hits Ted like a brick. He goes, well, damn it. And I go, what? And he goes, well, he paid you for the stove and for the breakfast. He goes, man, I tipped. And I looked at him and I says, man, that sucks.
Yeah. So the only one in this room that was out money that trip, this guy.
So he goes and buys the sauce, and he gets 2 jars of it. He goes, man, they were $5 a piece. Or it was $5 a piece. And he goes, so I only got a couple of them. He goes, man, I got $10 worth of sauce here. I said, false. You have $20 worth of sauce there. That better be some damn good sauce. So that was our adventure. And again, it was
we had a good time.
We made the best out because we knew too, as soon as we got there, and it's like, I literally said, it's still connected. I mean, the way I said it, they had to know that this guy hates me right now.
Well, we knew it was going to be a problem when we walked out of here, and I looked it up to see how long it'd be there. I'm like, well, if we go direct, it's maybe 35 minutes. And you're like, what if we go indirect? I'm like, well, we can make it take 3 hours.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we had to.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't be there before time. We literally pulled up at like 12:59. We're rolling up in front of their house, so we're like, hey,
also, if Lombard could put an ATM like somewhere between.
Yeah, I needed to grab some cash so I could
somewhere
pay for
between 355 and North Avenue, that'd be great.
Yeah, so if you're an entrepreneur looking for somewhere to place an ATM, that would be where to do it. And I would charge like $10 fees because people will pay it.
Yeah, and Ted would probably be out that $10. What else we got today?
You know what we got?
What?
Honestly, before we get into anything really crazy, which that was kind of crazy, but that's what we did last weekend.
Yeah.
So
we actually did something.
Yeah, we actually had an experience we could share. So it was pretty cool. Lori's list from Facebook.
Lori.
Yeah.
Lori's list. Lori.
Every time you say her name, an angel gets her rings. So
her rings, like what? Like onion rings?
No, like
when
wings.
they put some fries in there and then it becomes frings.
It's that joke. No, wings. The DVD set, the whole collection of wings. On DVD and Blu-ray.
I saw that Lori said that she likes it when we say her name.
She does. So I saw you went overboard, and I like that.
I'm just getting a few in for a couple episodes, and we don't say Lori.
She did. She posted a list that was amazing, simple home remedies, and a lot of these are very far. They're all like far left, so it's funny. I'll read a couple of them, but what I did is I went ahead and added some of my own that I thought would make this list better. Number one is, if you are choking on an ice cube, simply pour a cup of boiling water down your throat, and presto, the blockage is instantly removed.
That's like the people that say, like, when you hate how long it takes to make boiling water for pasta, like make a whole bunch of it at a time and then throw it in a bag and put it in your freezer.
Put it in the freezer?
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's the same guy.
Let's see here. Avoid arguments about the toilet seat. Use the sink. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, Brian, if you had been recording earlier, we could have had a callback.
We could have had a callback for that. So,
Sorry.
yeah, that's rough, man. You only need, I like this one. You only need 2 tools in life, WD-40 and duct tape. If it doesn't move, you should use WD-40. If it does move and it shouldn't, you should use the duct tape.
Which one are you then?
Yeah, I
Because
don't
you
move.
are clearly a tool.
I seldomly move. But,
it shows.
But the last thing on the list that I liked was, and a daily thought, some people are like Slinkies. Not really good for anything, but they bring a smile to your face when you push them downstairs. And I thought that was my favorite. And it was just like a random thought at the end. So I thought it needed more. So I actually added 10 through 15. And we can address these as I go through them. But number 10 is to avoid slipping in the bathtub while making toast, use an extension cord. I feel like it's not stressed enough that I know a bath mat works and it's good and solid, but you shouldn't be reaching over to the counter for toast.
Yeah.
I'd probably just get an extension cord and bring the toaster in the tub with you. Okay.
Yeah.
So
can you do that?
Huh?
Can you, please?
I don't have toast. I don't like toast. So
Can you air fry?
Yeah. Can you air fry?
What can I do to make it so you want to put an appliance in the...
They would be you make me a raft that fits my air fryer perfectly. So I start floating it in hopes that the cord will eventually fall in the tub. And number 11, before performing an at-home, in quotes, circumcision, consult an eye doctor. So I would do that because it's very tender where you're going. So I would make sure that you have very, very good eyesight. So you have, what's that look? What? That's the doctor I would consult with. I'm sorry. If you're going to consult with one doctor before you do an at-home circumcision, it would be the eye doctor. That's how I feel. You can insult any joke you want after that. You go ahead. I know what you're saying. Number 12, if you're extra sleepy on Thanksgiving and have a carbon monoxide leak, it's not the turkey.
Are you sure?
I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you're just playing it safe on that.
Yeah. And again, these are things around the house that help you out.
Right.
This one here, very helpful. Brian, pay attention.
Okay.
If you're in a scavenger hunt and driving a white cargo van, skip the something from the playground. Don't pick it up. Okay. And then honestly, at that point, you should just question the entire list.
Now,
but realistically, that's
our buddy Eric Kazoo, Whisker Crew Williamson has a history of helping out people who have wrecked their white cargo vans. So
what?
Yeah, there's many times where he was late to work in Michigan because like someone had driven their white cargo van off the road. He goes and helps them because he thinks he's some sort of superhero or some garbage. But now I'm wondering if it's like some sort of like cover story.
It's a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, where he's just getting the handoff from the thing from school.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, if you have an unbelievably expensive home repair you can't afford, fix it with an open flame. And the reason I say that is because most times you have like a $500 deductible.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have wanted to just burn it down and start again.
Yeah. So that's what I would do. I would fix it with an open flame, and then basically you're going to let somebody else take over.
I mean, if my house is on wheels, it would already be in the retention pond across the street. I would have just, I don't know how I got over there. I don't know.
There's just 6 back porches hanging up out of the water because the pond's not deep enough to take the whole house.
Now, my son gets so involved in what he's doing. He'd probably his room would just be the only room still out of the water, and he'd still be in it. Yeah. He'd be slightly angled, but he'd be like, I'll figure it out.
Like the old Batman movie where they're walking up the hill. You're like, you're just turning the camera. You're on the wall. You're laying down. Yeah. Hey, number 15, the last one. This might be my favorite because I do this. Not the end, but I giggle when you play hide and seek. So if during hide and seek, you constantly giggle, hide face down in a tub full of water to avoid giving yourself away.
Wouldn't the bubbles
They won't hear you. No, I don't think so. Bubbles will stop eventually. Do you hear something?
Yeah, there's something.
Do you hear something?
Fridge?
What do I hear?
It's a saw.
Well, who saw it? We have a sign on the door, sir.
Yeah. He's sawing right through it. Here comes a chainsaw right through the door. It's like, damn it, that backfired.
Yeah, we did. We were doing a joke this morning where we wanted to be mid-conversation while we're walking through the door, like blasting through the door. Little did we know that Brian was hanging his coat up on the rack just behind the door.
Yeah. Coming in hot. So
it's not my fault he didn't put a window in his door.
Right. We need a chainsaw-proof sign now, something that makes it. Because now I'm thinking, man, you're gonna just see it coming through that door.
Well, I thought I was having a stroke for a minute because no one else seemed to be responding to the fact, like, am I the only one hearing this noise?
Ted, do you taste aluminum right now? That's not normal. Okay. So realistically, I think those 15, you should probably post them around the house so people know.
Yeah.
But no, I was a big fan of the scavenger hunt one because I feel like that could really take a bad turn.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I feel like that could take a bad turn. So, and I'm definitely gonna revise all my scavenger hunt lists that I make. Yeah. So can I go into Treadflix?
We didn't have much Treadflix last time, so I think people are clamoring for what you have learned.
Well, because see what I do
Treadflix.
I pass along my knowledge to people, so I feel like people really are very excited to find out.
Well, next time you're on the treadmill, you might want to look up knowledge.
Yeah.
What is the definition of knowledge?
I got it from Wikipedia. Seems pretty legit. Yeah. So this week, honestly, it was mostly Titanic shows. And then I did start watching. This is not informative whatsoever, but I started watching it with my wife, and then she decided she didn't like it. So I'm finishing it on the treadmill in between stuff. It's called Bling Empire. Are you familiar with it? You see it on Netflix?
It sounds like something I've skimmed past. Like, nope.
Yeah. So that one, the Bling Empire, okay, it's about like grotesquely rich Asians that live in Hollywood. Like they're A-list people, but they're not in movies. You know what I mean? They have more money than. I mean, there's a lady on there, old lady. She's the one that like everybody wants to be and wants to be friends with, and she goes on a spending spree. And does not, like, she never asks a price for nothing. She just buys stuff. So they'll be like $100,000, $200,000 worth of stuff.
I mean, there was a popular film a couple years ago called Crazy Rich Asians. So this is probably like,
it's probably like a real.
Oh, that was a popular film. Now
Right.
we got Netflix has to throw up 18 things about rich Asians. Sure.
Well, so the one guy, he's a doctor, and he's like 24. I think he's 24th. Yeah, 24th generation descendant. That would be like if there was still like. Emperors and dynasties like that, he'd like be in charge of the country right now, or he'd be next to go. You know, I mean,
what about Falcon Crest or
Days of Our Lives? You're just naming shows now. It's not Dukes of Hazzard.
Just a good old boy. All right. I don't want to get pulled.
So what's funny is the one girl on there, this Kelly girl, right?
Is that her name? Kelly girl.
Kelly girl.
Kelly girl.
She's dating the guy who played the Red Power Ranger. His name's Andrew something.
Wait, which one? There's been 1,000. Like the original?
I think the original. So anyway, she's really like, she's very excited that she's dating this guy. And now he's not Asian, so everybody is like, oh, you're not dating. So whatever.
No, ironically, the guy in the suit was.
Really?
Well, yeah, they stole half of that footage from an already existing show.
But I just laughed because she's talking about it. Well, they're not getting along, so they're going to therapy. Now, what I do, my whole thing with Treadflix, not so much now as I'm learning. I was when I was watching, and not that I was learning, so I know you're going to say that, but when I was watching the stuff about the afterlife and the this and that, you know, when I was watching that stuff, I would interact more with the show, I'd be like, ooh, and I'd be talking to the characters.
Were you trying to kill yourself?
No,
is that what you meant? Because
yeah. Nobody likes a quitter, Damon. Nobody likes a quitter. So if at first you don't succeed, ask your friend how to do it right. But anyway.
But before they do it.
Yeah, right. I should have asked. That guy was good. One try.
Dang it. Dang it.
Yeah. Don't joke about that, Ted. It's dark. But anyway.
Not if it's you.
Right. There's a bright side to everything, Damon. You gotta look
looking on the bright side of life.
But no. So I interact. So like if there's tension on the TV, I do my hand farts. So I'll do my what is it? I can't do it now. I'll be doing that, and then I'll be like, "Do you smell popcorn?" I'm like trying to do anything like take the tension off the screen. I literally interact, or I'll do duck calls. I do random duck calls and all kinds of stupid stuff. And then I'm like, "Hey," or I'll be like, "Hey, over here, stop!" You know, and And my wife comes down and catches me doing this. And I'm interacting with a show that it has nothing to do with me, but in true form, it does everything.
Is this why, like, I drove to your house this morning and we drove here together. Is this why your wife asked me to have some like wall padding in the back of my, can you deliver some padded wall stuff? And can keep Damon out for a long time today.
You don't by any chance have a sleeping bag and some earplugs, do you?
Well, I know. I think he's going to pad that wall, put you in there and lock it up.
I'm telling you, brother, I find it to be hysterical. But anyway, they're sitting. It entertains me. So especially when it's stupid stuff like this, I'm not learning anything. So now I'm part of the story. So they're sitting down.
Well, of course.
Yeah. So
it's got to be about Damon.
So they're sitting down at the shrink, talking about their not their marriage. They're not married, but talking about their relationship. She wants to leave. And he's upset about it.
Like
so
she wants to leave the therapy session?
No,
or
she
him?
wants to leave him.
Okay.
And he's like, I mean, like you look at this guy, he seems, and again, don't know this guy, but he was a Power Ranger. So I think he's probably aggressive. So anyway, you know what I mean? But he was the Red Ranger. So I don't know how aggressive he was, but anyway, he was a Power Ranger, but he looks like
he gives you a warning. If he starts saying it's morphin time, then you know it's time to go.
He absolutely, though, he looks like the type, like if you were to stereotype exactly what the type is, you're like, oh my God, he was a Power Ranger. You know what I mean? So anyway, I literally tell her, I said, have you tried role playing? I said, maybe you should be the Pink Ranger. So I'm talking to the TV doing this, right? and I'm having a ton of fun.
I'm glad you went with Pink Ranger and not the terrible obvious joke of the Yellow Ranger. Because I would leave this room if you had said that.
No, but I'm like, you should be the Pink Ranger. And I'm like, well, maybe he's not into the Pink Ranger. Maybe that's why he's, I'm just being totally off the wall. And my wife's like, who are you talking to? You know? So
now, it could be if before they have relations, if he says, before he gets excited, if he says it's morphin time, maybe then I would be like, yeah, you need to leave him because that's weird. That's too much.
And every time his 4 buddies show up
and get in a giant robot suit.
You're like, bro, this is not working out. This is not working out. So I'll be honest with you, there ain't enough hand farts or duck calls. I could take that off my brain if that happened on the thing. Because I do that. I'm just marching along on the treadmill and, it's squeak, squeak, squeak. And I'm doing it,
Whoa.
Yeah. I'd be like, okay, first off, I see a lot of things coming. I did not see that coming.
Let's check out the Titanic again. What's going on over there?
Right.
Because that's a ship that's even more safe than this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was, it's pretty crazy. So like I said, I learned nothing from that other than I want to live in Hollywood and be worth,
we stayed at an Airbnb in Hollywood that was, I guess it wasn't Hollywood, it was just outside of LA. Yeah. Oh man, it was amazing.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, so someone, I don't know if they were just using that as like, it was a duplex. I think they might live in the other side, or maybe that part was for rent. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. But the thing is, it was a duplex where you couldn't tell that the other side was there. Duplexes around us, it looks like they just took 2 houses, shoved them together, and put a door on either end. I'm like, all right, I see how that works. It was like a cat dog kind of thing. But man, it was some of the houses and this was like, it was just in a regular neighborhood. It wasn't fancy and everything, but they had done it real nice and yeah.
So I said, and again, I've never been there. I'm just saying I want to be that, but again, that lifestyle. That's right.
I took one of them flying tubes to get there.
Yeah.
You don't
the big bird.
And it's like a giant suppository.
What could you make out of this? I can make a brooch. I can make never mind. Great airplane reference, bro.
No problem.
Yeah.
Everyone from 1971 will get that.
But no, I want to go. The only thing I can say is that I know I wouldn't be like that. Like these guys, like if they don't have expensive caviar, I don't even know that I'd ever eat caviar. I don't drink wine now. In certain settings, when I go around adults.
You said now, like there was a time. I don't even drink wine now.
No, but I'm saying I've never drank wine. So my whole point is that when you get around adults that like that's socially acceptable and that's what you do. I mean, I can hold a glass of wine. I will never, ever, ever drink it.
So you're telling me that you and your hand farts would stand out? I don't buy it. I think you blend right in.
Kind of weird, eh?
Yeah.
Who's the guy over there making duck calls? I don't know. It must be some tension going on somewhere.
Who's the guy over there that's turned down every glass of wine?
But that's true. So that's why. But they gotta have the nicest caviar. They gotta have this. They gotta have that. And I'm like, man, even if you get to that level, I just don't understand. I mean, you got to be sick. You got to be just filthy rich because you can amass money and you get to a certain level and you're like, I want and or need more. and then you change your values around you and this and that. I mean,
well, that's like when they show their homes from like a satellite view or from a plane view.
Oh yeah,
and you're like, hey. At one point, if there's 4 people living in a house, why do you need 78 bathrooms? Like, I don't like.
Well, that's like
it's cool and all. Does it look beautiful? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a necessity for anyone? No.
Well, it's like I appreciate the people. Like once in a while, I'll watch that My Lottery Dream Home. You ever seen that show?
Yeah.
Where the guy walks them through and he's like, "Oh, you won how much money?" And they'll be like, "Oh, I won $14 million." And they'll be like, "Oh, okay. So you're looking for a house? What's your budget? $275,000." I'm like, "Thank you." Because that's a real person. You don't go. What's your budget? $7 million. I want to spend more than half. Well, it's like no, that's not how you live.
Have you seen those shows where people win the lottery and then they come back and it's like 3 years later and now they're destitute?
Yeah,
because they literally, I want everything and it has to be gold.
Yeah, they live like MC Hammer. Remember him? Yeah.
Does anyone?
Yeah, a million people in your entourage. You're paying for everybody. Now you're broke. Weird. So you're doing what? Doritos commercials.
Yeah. Well, that's why, MC Hammer, at one point, everyone was telling him, like, oh, you can't touch this. Nope, that's not yours anymore. You can't touch this. No. You broke. The movers are doing that slide dance and they're taking stuff away from them.
Uh-oh. Here goes stuff now. Uh-oh. Wow.
Too legit. Hurry.
No more shit. No more shit. You quit.
It's legit.
It's legit. You got no more shit. Wow. Wow.
So they built like a second story in this building? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
It's the new expansion to the studio.
Is it?
Is Tom Cruise going to traverse down through the skylight and try to steal these lights in my face? Nice.
Toast.
Hey,
Toast.
Hey, it might have a connection with Wesley Snipes.
Does he know Tony Danza?
Yeah, if you can't 1 degree to Tony Danza, this guy doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't.
but where's this coming from? First off, hi Brian, welcome to the show.
Brian's like, I'm late on my taxes too. I might have an in with Wesley Snipes.
I'm hoping he can help me fight off the feds.
Right? Come on, Blade. I got no cash.
It was either he had to fight off vampires or the IRS. So which one was it?
Wow.
But again, welcome to the show, Brian.
Yeah. How do you know him?
30 minutes in. What's up?
Another client. They were talking about Wesley Snipes. Seems like they might be working with him in some.
So we talk about Tony Danza all the time. That doesn't mean we know him.
Yeah. I was gonna say he's yet to call.
I think one of them actually knows him.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Look at this guy coming in on our show to name drop someone he isn't even name dropping with.
Was that, were you paying attention to that podcast? Is that how you know this? Okay. Well, congratulations on doing that for other podcasts.
I hope we leave
the
in
podcast
that.
hadn't started yet.
Gotcha.
It was
I hope
pre-show discussion.
I hope that story from earlier before we really started gets in here somehow where Brian's like, yeah, I got in trouble for not paying attention to someone else's podcast.
What do you think, Brian? Ooh. You're not going to believe this, but I've been training with That Checks Out for a while.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
And I don't have a clue.
Here's the thing. I have 10 shares of AMC.
Yeah. Thanks to the Wi-Fi in here, I made myself a couple bucks while you were talking.
Was the question about the short squeeze? Because if it's not, I cannot answer right now.
Right. That's wow. What's funny is like they were like surprised. They're like, oh my God, he didn't pay attention. We're the opposite.
Yeah.
And we're like he chimes in, we're like, holy cow, Brian's awake.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, wow.
We thoroughly expect to look up and be like, oh.
Yeah. Or he walks by you.
Yeah.
You're like half the time you think this place is haunted because there's people moving behind you. You're like, oh, it's just the producer who's not at his desk right now. Oh, okay. Never mind. It's all good. I'd be like, heads up, 7 Up. Should I have my head down?
Brian, I hope you ever become a train engineer because suddenly you'd be walking through the through the cars. You'd be like, wait, who's the dude in front driving this train? I mean, I know it's on a track, but I'm sure there's someone needs to be up there.
That guy over there in the suit pouring himself a coffee. Oh, he's supposed to be up front steering the train right now.
They're all automated now. Yeah. They don't need me.
He's got the club just put over the steering wheel. He's all good. He's like, hey, nobody's gonna take it. It's moving. We're good. Don't worry about
It'd
it.
be like if you took off your your eye shades in a plane and looked over and be like, that guy looks like the pilot. Weren't you on the left when I walked in? Why are you over here now?
Yeah. It's like a bad game of Where's Waldo in the air. Wow.
Can't they serve you drinks up there? Like, did you have to come back here for your half cup of flat Coke?
I had the fish. That's right.
Oh, that's right. I had the lasagna.
I had the lasagna. So, hey, the other show I watched, Titanic. Can I throw some knowledge on you? Like, I actually share some knowledge?
Is it beyond the boat sunk?
Is this a rhetorical question?
Wow. I like when Brian wakes up.
Wow. He's awake and he's a jerk.
Apparently, he has paid enough attention to know you're an idiot.
Well, I'm talking about a boat, deckhand, so pay attention. Here we go. So, the Titanic, this is for real.
Yeah, the Titanic was real, sure.
Yeah, so they have a sister ship that was the Britannica.
Yeah.
Okay. And that sunk only in 400 feet of water. So
Yep.
they actually did a dive to try to find the seam where they think that the boat split. They did a dive on the Britannica, which was made after the Titanic sunk. So they were going off the drawings. The way the joint looked, it came down into a point at the bottom, which is bad because it's not gonna stress right. It actually needs something to like for pressure at the bottom.
That's why plane windows are curved.
Correct, because they were coming apart in the air because they were square. Correct. So anyway, so they went ahead and they dove down on this other one. So they can actually, in 400 feet of water, they can have divers loose around it. So they're out, they find the joint, and they go ahead and they clean like the vegetation off the outside of it, but they can see it from the inside. And it looks like a thermometer. So it goes down, and at the bottom, you have that bulb of mercury.
Yeah.
You have a bulb there. So they redesigned it after the Titanic, knowing that something went wrong on the Titanic. But they never said, hey, we knew something went wrong there and the boat was going to split. And this is why, boom, they just did it different. So they still said that back in the day, the Titanic sunk in one piece. That's how, until they actually had divers go down on it. That's what they said. Because even though witnesses said, hey, it split in half, they couldn't prove it. So it is what it is. But anyway, so they dived down on that. They find that basically, yes, they re-engineered this newer boat that was the sister ship of it. Because there was a fatal flaw. So now, fatal flaw is hitting a freaking iceberg. I get that,
right.
But when you're taking on water and it's not flexing, you lose time for the ships to get to you. Because eventually the ships got there and got the people out of the rowboats, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I didn't know there were so many empty seats on lifeboats.
Yeah, because they were panicking. They just literally started dropping
They were
them.
throwing
Yeah.
lifeboats in the water that some of them had 35, 40 empty seats in them.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy. They had to subpoena this guy called Erzme, who is basically like a big shareholder or owner.
You have a subpoena.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, there's our new drop. Timestamp that. You have a subpoena. That is absolutely going to be our new drop. We tried earlier. Couldn't think of anything good to say right there. And the look on your face was so serious. Yeah.
I love when I get Brian disgusted.
Yeah. So basically, this guy, he survived. Now you realize he really should have went down with the ship like the captain because he's a male and this and that and
Right.
But anyway, he survived and he knew about the icebergs. They all did, but they kept plowing straight ahead. And instead of going off track, they kept plowing straight ahead. The highest ranking surviving crew member that they got, he lied about it too and said there's no icebergs. They didn't have any warning. Well, they had warning because they were doing the telegraph. I mean, I hate to say it. It's like now, if you send an email to me, there's, oh, I never sent that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, it'd be like right now, if like you were in the northern part of the country in the winter and you're like, oh, I didn't know snow could be a possibility. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They were in the North Atlantic. I mean, that's where the icebergs are.
So weird. And then the thing that got me the most, this was the biggest kick in the deck.
I see what you did there.
Right. Was that White Star, that's the parent company that owned the Titanic,
Yep.
Okay, sent the band leader's family, that Wallace Hartley guy, okay, they sent him a bill for lost uniforms, not turned in. Dude, I took a picture of it because they put it up on the screen. They literally sent this guy's family. Now, he's one of the bodies they found.
Yeah.
And they did a big thing for him.
Was he wearing a uniform?
Yeah, there's one.
Well,
there's one.
I mean,
yeah, you get like 6.
Yeah.
So, but no,
that's not a kick. That's a stamp. They stomped on that deck.
Right in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They stomped on it.
Yeah. So it was amazing. But like I said, he was one of the guys they found frozen in the water that they pulled out. And, so he got to his family got to give him a burial,
But not in the uniform.
But they got a bill.
They had to pay for that.
Yeah. And they said it was like one of the biggest funerals that they ever saw in that area in England there. And people were out and people were donating. And then they said the only thing they got from the company was a bill for uniforms not turned in.
Can you imagine they're passing a hat through the funeral home or through the funeral, like out in the graveyard, and everyone's putting in like their pounds and their shillings, whatever they have over there. And suddenly some guy from White Star just like slips, like picks up a few like of the bills on top and slides in his.
He takes a couple bucks out.
Yeah.
He's over there. You guys got change for a 10?
Yeah. I mean, again, we got this uniform back. It's a little frozen, but we still got to charge for the other 5.
So
what a move, man!
I tell you
that's
what,
ballsy.
You're like, look, we just lost our $1 million ship, and it's 1908. You know what I mean? We lost our $1 million ship, and here's the real kick. We didn't get your uniforms back, so
I mean, he agreed to the terms and conditions when he took those uniforms. So
we're going to hold your check, and we're going to send a bill to. So, but yeah, I thought that was crazy.
That's ridiculous.
And the other thing is, they really went over. This is the last thing I'll do off this, but they went over about how this ship was unsinkable because reality, it was supposed to be able to take on water for hours and hours and hours. So something else could have got there and got them off of it. Well, had it not split in half, that might have worked. And you don't know. But deeming it unsinkable, what they did to me, that's kind of like if you let Joe Buck call it. You know what I mean? And you're like, hey, listen. And I wrote this down because it really popped right in my head. But I feel like Joe Buck was making the call as if it was a game-winning field goal. Like, in quotes, he's the most trustworthy of all time, and he'll never hit an iceberg in these conditions. Because that's right. When you put it in print that many times that this boat is unsinkable, you know what's going to happen? I mean, how many times do you not talk about stuff because you don't want something to happen about that stuff?
Like I think we talked about this before. Like when we were growing up, and someone would be like, I would like, don't even say the word deer while I'm in a car because they hear it.
Yeah,
they're 6 forests away, and they're like, oh, someone said deer in Wilson's car. Let's go over to the side of the road. Yeah, because they know.
Yeah, it's deer season. Son of a, don't talk about it. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, but you're right. Like as soon as they say like, oh, he's 41 for 41 on the season, and you're like, oh, well, we're losing this game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing. I mean, you look at these teams, it's like, oh, he's the most accurate kicker of all time, and he misses 3 of them in a playoff game. Yeah. And you're like, don't talk about it. Yeah. They'll put the stat up.
I think it's just fair to say that anything that comes out of Joe Buck's mouth is garbage. So
it is. But I just picture that voice because he would ruin it for me.
Oh, well.
He'd be like, oh,
he could. Yeah, it could be the greatest day of my life, and Joe Buck could say like one word, and I'd be like, I gotta go.
It really could. Dude, think about it. If he narrates like the best day of your life, you're like, damn it, this day sucks now.
Yeah, seriously. All you would have to be like, congratulate, I'm out. I don't, gross. You suck.
Yeah, and that's
I'm not a big sports dude.
Right. Well, but he does baseball too, so I mean, you don't just have to be a football fan. He does baseball
I'm just saying,
right?
like, just in general. Like, I'm not as big a sports fan as everyone else, but
no,
I hate that man.
When there's a big primetime game on Fox, you're like, oh no.
Like, can I simulcast this with the radio? How does that?
It's gonna be Joe Buck. So, but no, that was I feel like I learned a lot about that stuff. And I pass along knowledge. So think about it.
I mean, I hate to say it, but to be fair, that seemed well prepared.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And the biggest kick in the deck really was just like, I can't believe that you'd send somebody a bill for their deceit. I mean, it was crazy. I do like hey, he was in one, right?
Right. I mean, we don't have to pay for this one, right? We can give it back to
you. Yeah. You guys got to pay for the dry cleaning. Damn it.
That's how they get you. There's always a catch. Now, I've told you that when I spend Branson money, they do have, and you found when you went down to Tennessee, they have Titanic museums.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, and they're cool. What they do, and it's kind of morbid, but they give you a ticket at the beginning, like a passport that you and at the end you find out the person that you have been portraying through this museum lived or died.
No way.
Yeah. So you get to the end and you're like, you find out what happened. Like, so you're like, you're this person. Like, you would be in this berthing. You'd either be in like, first class or third class or second class, or this is what happened. And you get to the end, you're like, cool, didn't make it. Awesome.
Really?
Yeah, they do that. And it's like, they have some stuff, like, I don't know how because they have so many museums now, but they do have like deck chairs and like some of the china and some of the menus and stuff like in glass cases. You can see all that stuff, and they've recreated some things. And they also have and to make it, and this is weird that they have to make this interesting for kids. They have to make some like fun parts of Titanic, but there's a part where you walk. Yeah, it's weird. You're right, but there's a part where you walk through a hallway and they have like decks, actual decks.
You said deck, right?
Actual decks.
Okay.
Like tilted, like this is what it was at this time, and this is how tilted it was at this time. This is so you can walk on it and like actually see how like upright it was in the water and stuff. And then I think I told you this, where they have a like a basin where you can put your hand in, and it's as cold as the water was that night.
Yeah.
And you can hit a timer and see. The timer I think only goes for a minute, but after a minute you can feel like how cold it is in your hand. Can you imagine being in that water for 20 minutes, 2 hours?
Yeah, it's going to freeze your organs.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So it's fascinating. I mean, you should go in one, but it's like it's weird how some of like, because they know people, they want to get people's repeat business, or they want to be able to come in. Like they've put some like fun like kids museum parts and stuff, and it's like I don't know. To be fair, I'm a little biased.
Who wants to pin the uniform on the band leader?
Well, I was just gonna say I'm a little biased because I got to the end of the museum and they charged me for the uniforms, so I was a little pissed.
Yeah. Ted, turns out you were the band leader, and you owe it for uniforms.
Right. We never got that paid in 1908, so we're gonna need you to pay that back with interest.
Actually, I think it was 1912. I said 1908, but it was 1912. But yeah, same thing. Yeah, it's like a book fee.
Yeah,
it was a nickel a day.
Yeah.
So if we compound interest that
right
over the last 109 years. Wow. Yeah. No, I didn't know you were going there. I wouldn't have said nothing, but that was my thought. I was like, how do you make this fun for kids? So guys, the boat sank. All right. Spoiler alert.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Like, in front of the Titanic Museum, it's like it was a half scale.
Yeah.
Like the building looks like the Titanic. They have the smokestacks. They have everything that looks like it. In the very front on the road is the iceberg that it hit.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
But
and then they have like a waterfall coming down.
Yes.
Yeah, they've really beautified this iceberg.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, the iceberg is the true champion of the outside of that building.
I mean, is that like equivalent of like if your family was murdered and they have a statue of your family member, and then the guy who murdered him like right out in front with the waterfall coming down his shoulders? Well, technically.
It's a little harsh. He's part of the family now. We forgave him. He's okay.
It wasn't his fault. He was just swimming in the Atlantic.
You know where it wouldn't be wrong? If it's the actual guy and he's stuffed. You just got him right in your house. You're like, is that a wax? Is it from a wax museum? No, don't touch it.
Did you guys have to pay for that uniform? got a mileage out of that.
Was he on the Titanic?
What cost the most? The stuffing or the base? No, we had to pay for that uniform. It seemed pretty cheesy, but when the bill came, it was apparently really expensive.
It's authentic. It's authentic.
What is that, velvet?
You just see like one of the dive teams go down, and that's what they're after. Like, what are you after? We're after his uniforms. Okay, we're just tired of all the garbage.
Yeah,
and all the back and forth.
They've sold our uniform bill to a collections agency, who sold it to a car warranty agency.
Yeah.
Do you know there's safes full of gold and stuff? I don't care.
That's cool.
I just want the uniform.
That's cool. I don't really care. They're bringing them up and they snag them on the thing and rip them. Oh, that's going to get expensive.
You said there was a sister ship, right?
Right.
Did they have similar uniforms?
Tell me that guy died. Tell me that guy died. Wow.
We're terrible people.
That was pretty morbid.
Yeah. You should feel bad about yourself for that.
You want to feel better about yourself? I got a strange story.
Strange story.
There's no more deviled eggs on the roof. I love that that's still our sound for strange stories. We can't just have somebody go, strange stories.
And now, strange stories with David.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with deviled eggs.
That is not an option. So we'll do one. We'll see if we do two, but we'll do one. Japanese entrepreneur launches body odor evaluation company.
Is this how they get rich?
Get rich slow. Part of it. Get rich
so they're
slow.
not on your bling empire.
Right. Yeah. They're not. So, all
right.
Basically, if you smell bad or think you smell bad, there is a company that is willing to run a test on you to tell you if you have body odor. Because it basically states in here that people are too afraid to confront somebody, a friend or family, that they have body odor. I'm not. Now, I may have the body odor and everybody else is, but I'm not. So I don't totally understand that. I will tell you that basically they said due to COVID-19, the sales of deodorant has collapsed.
Because people can't smell. They've lost a sense of smell.
Well, they're
not going anywhere.
They're not going out.
They're not going anywhere.
Not going out. You know,
But also, I think it's also the part
Right.
like that they don't realize.
Oh, imagine that. Yeah, it's like, hey, I know you had COVID, you can't smell and everything, but the rest of us can.
Yeah.
So, by the way, $150 to do a test. $150.
To tell if you smell?
Yep. Yeah, they're gonna send you.
I mean, you could just walk through a group of kids. They'll let you know for free.
and you're fat and you're ugly.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Right.
It's not what I
This
signed
took
up
a
for.
turn. This took a turn so negative.
Hope you kept your receipt, idiot.
Yeah. So, but it's called odorate. So basically, it's the word odor and the word rate put together. Okay, but the guy who invented this, I got to find his name because it
It's
is
too much time on his hands.
his name is Shada Ishida.
Come on now. Come on now.
SHOTA.
Come on
first
now.
name. Yep. Last name ISHITA. Ishida. Shada Ishida.
Shoulda.
Yeah. Yeah. Should I shout out? I shoulda? What?
This guy has literal poop in his name.
Yeah. Well, he's a 30-year-old kid. Okay. I say kid because I'm 44, mid-40s.
456.
456. But basically, he's according to him, only 1% of the population is so preoccupied with their personal smell to the point that it might cause them anxiety. So there's people that are nervous they smell that can't ask anybody else, but for $150, they're going to send you a shirt that's like got carbon on it, carbon track, whatever, and you're going to wear it for 24 hours. You're going to send it back to them. They're going to tell you if you stink. Seriously, that's what it is.
I know I'm not in a visual medium right now, but all I can do is quietly
Right.
shake my head for shame.
When I even put my notes in here, because it says it's something they can't bring up with friends or family. And I put right after that, the hell it won't. It'll come up automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, literally, hey, did you eat a shit sandwich?
I mean,
No, you don't like bread. I understand, but if something's foul, you know, dude, hand to God. And I went through that. I'm working. One of my buddies comes to me and he says, hey, he goes, and it was like late in the day, but he's like, hey, he goes, what'd you have for lunch? I didn't even have lunch. And I said, I don't know why. And he goes, dude, ripe. And I go, really? So I got real self-conscious about it. I'm like, okay. And so like I'm doing like mouthwash every couple hours, you know, and I brush my teeth every morning and every night at least, sometimes morning and early night and then bedtime.
armpits, asshole, crotch, and teeth.
Yeah.
Save time. Use the same brush.
Yeah, right.
George Carlin, rest in peace.
But so I got real self-conscious about it. So I ended up I went to the dentist. I hadn't been to the dentist in forever. Well, that's part of it. You got to have a deep cleaning. You got to do this and that, you know? And I was like, okay. Once that was done, I was fine. But I literally, like, I told him, I said, thanks. But we were like family. Me and him were tight. So he did that. Hey, just so you know, boom, there it is. Cool. I would totally do that for somebody else too. I mean, and again, he didn't do it. He could have done it in a real negative way because you know me, I'm negative. So it would have been great to just be like, hey, you know, did you eat that dinosaur butthole from last week? You know, what did you have for lunch? You know,
it was exquisite. So it was exquisite.
Yeah.
Apparently that's what my mouth is doing today.
But no, so I really became self-conscious of it and I addressed it. But yeah, I would tell somebody, or I would want somebody to tell. Somebody did tell me, you know, I would gladly want that to happen. So I don't understand the whole, I'd rather send a stranger $150 and my t-shirt. How do you know that's what he does with his stuff anyway? Yes, you smell exquisite. And I'll use your word, you know.
Is he trying to like, and then when you sign up for it, like, oh, I only wanted attractive women to sign up.
Right.
You're not in the study. Hard pass.
I should have you not. You are not part of the study.
I don't like how clever that was.
So realistically, he said business is good. More than 1,000 people have already commissioned him to do this. So 1,000 people.
That's considered business is good.
Yeah. Well, it's 150 grand. You know what I mean? So I guess that's not bad because it says it here. He actually bought a machine that.
I was gonna say, does he have any overhead? Does he just get the t-shirts back and go, "Yep, you smell."
It uses a gas chromatography mass spectrometer.
It's easy for you to say,
right? He bought the machine used for 50 grand. So you figure he's 50 grand in, plus whatever marketing he's got to say, hey, do you think you stink? You know? But yeah, it's a charcoal material. You put the shirt on for 24 hours, you send it back to him. And then they give you on a scale from 1 to 5, how you get an odor rating. Again, you call my businesses stupid. My businesses, Pet Chat would blow this out of the water. Literally and figuratively.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a jet.
Yeah.
It's a water jet. So
Yeah.
yes, that's what it does.
So, and in Japan, they consider the, like we have sexual harassment here, which is like the number one frowned upon thing in any kind of business or anything like that.
I'm surprised you knew that.
Yeah. Well trained. I've seen a lot of courses. So anyway.
By the way, HR keeps reaching out to me to tell you that please.
All right. Could you return the tapes?
Yeah.
Smell harassment is like the number one thing in Japan. Smell harassment.
I will say in that culture, they are very much more private about their business and stuff like that. They're not as overt as we are over here in America. You've been there. You going to back that up on me on?
They have toilets of the future there.
Really?
Totally different experience.
Yeah, they have buttons and they do have pet.
all the
I mean, their
seats are
toilets have
heated
pet jets
and-
in them.
Well, they're on
And-
the other side of the world.
By the way,
All
I
the stalls are completely private and soundproof because they don't want to hear none of that.
I got an
You don't
add-on
have to aim
bidet
the
for
porcelain if
Christmas.
you don't want to.
Really?
Yeah.
I got an add-on bidet for Christmas. Do you know a plumber?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
You busy until like 1 o'clock?
You got till like 1 o'clock today. We'll stop for lunch. So lastly, he's launching a new armpit only analysis service, and he's also considering doing a kit for bad breath.
I mean, to give this guy credit, I mean, I think he's.
Are you shut up? You cannot give this guy. If I give you a business idea right now, you'd be like, I'm out. I wouldn't even get done telling you the title.
I think maybe you should let me get to the end of what I'm going to say, and then you could see how much you want.
All right, but I
want this credit.
Hey, but I'm holding this frustration.
I was going to say, to give this guy credit, he has taken his gross fetish and spun it into a profit.
I tried doing the same. Voyeur yoga, Voyo.
No, you wanted me to invest in it. That's different.
Right.
This guy doesn't want my money or my name on it.
Yeah.
He can have credit.
You probably paid for one of these shirts. That's probably why you're so.
It's reverse psychology.
Yeah.
I'm the one producing the shirts. Like, what am I, an idiot?
his fingers are covered in carbon. What do you got there?
Yeah.
Nothing.
You've been grilling? It looks like a lot of charcoal. You quiet your ass down.
Hey, Kenny Kingsford, how about if we go ahead?
I am Royal Oak all the way. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm more of a wood chip guy. Yeah, I'd like to throw you in a wood chipper. I understand. I would totally like to do that. You know what? We have time. You want to do one more because this last one is pretty crazy.
I mean, apparently we have an extra 7 minutes from last week.
Ooh, hey, is that how it works?
how
Is
that
this
works?
like rollover minutes?
This was your fault for bringing it up, sir. Oh, what is this?
At Audiohive
1999?
Podcast, I was going to say at Audiohive Podcast, apparently you get rollover minutes. So I have a lot of unused minutes. So I guess we get to use those today. Thanks,
I mean,
Brian.
it is the end of the month, so we need to use them up.
Yeah, it's like they expire on Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, come on down right now to see the face of regret at Audiohive Podcast Studio. Ask for Brian.
And grab a shower while you're here. Grab a shower.
You just walk right out with it. I'm sure his plumber didn't probably even install it,
Yeah.
right? It's probably
Yeah.
just sitting in there loose.
It's all right. Hey, good news is he cleaned the urinal earlier, so that's good.
That was a sink.
Tomato. So anyway.
All right, what you got? Give me number 2.
All right, so this is the last one I have, and this one's actually pretty wild. Are either of you drinkers?
I enjoyed a couple last night.
Yeah. What about gin? Do you ever drink gin?
Oh,
Nope.
gross. No.
Huh?
No.
No?
It's like drinking a pine tree. It is
Okay.
the worst.
Well, it almost literally
pretty
is.
awful.
Wait till you hear this. Meet the makers of South African elephant dung gin.
Brian's back in.
No, he's not.
That's what you guys would be like. Yeah, I'm in.
No.
Yeah. That button's never been more accurate.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so So poop pine. Let's go.
Yep. So basically, what it is they
Do they
take,
eat the pine needles and then make the civet coffee? You know what I'm talking about. Brian gets it.
It says allow us to present to you, and it's called Indlovu Gin. It's INDLOVU gin.
The best part of this is you find all these stories yourself that you can't pronounce. Like,
Right.
I'm not sending these to you. I'm like, this can be funny if you can't read it on air. This is David looking them up.
Yeah.
Doing it to himself.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, when you Google it, it doesn't give you a pronunciation of this gin. But it's a South African company, all right? And basically, it's produced from a bunch of crap.
Literally.
Yeah, but it comes from elephants.
But how does it get to be gin? Because gin is basically from the juniper berry.
What? Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, that I did not know. Okay, I don't know much about alcohol as you understand, unless
Right,
unless
I
it
get it.
ends in like
Light.
Gillicuddy or or schnapps. Yeah, I don't know about it. So basically, we're called a poop gin. All right, but they extract. This is what's so weird. They're taking all the stuff the elephant eats, and they're extracting it from its crap. Could they not just go to the same safari or the same savannah and grab the stuff it eats and take it?
There legitimately is a coffee. It's the civet eats the beans, poops them out, and
Yeah.
they claim that whatever happens in the internal organs, like the acids or whatever, it creates a better coffee. I think they've just figured out a way to charge hipsters more money to drink poop coffee, and they're enjoying it. They're laughing all the way to the bank.
So, elephants eat a lot of food, okay,
Yeah.
because of their body weight, their mass. But it says that apparently they only absorb or digest half of what they take in. So the rest of it basically comes out in their dung. So that's why they're saying that basically they can take this and they can get it to certain temperatures, which basically they're boiling turds.
How high do you have to be to look out and be like, I bet we could make alcohol out of that?
Well, first off, the way you both reacted to gin, I can't imagine that would be like
Some people really enjoy gin, and I don't want to
Yeah. But no,
I don't want to yuck their yum, as the kids don't say. But yeah,
So-
gin is just gross.
So essentially, the dung goes through a drying and sanitation process. Then the poop is rinsed and dried again, resulting in what Les describes as a perfectly safe and edible product. No, it's not. Not at all. Finally, the sterilized dung is infused into the gin. That's a fancy way for saying it's plopped into a batch of booze until the flavors come off.
Ugh.
Yep.
Now, if you had said it was vodka, I'd buy it because you can make vodka almost on anything because vodka is flavorless.
So one of the best parts is after bottling, each bottle of it is marked with a GPS of coordinates where the dung was used, that it came from, where it came from, the dung used. That's
So they're plot your poop,
yeah.
zoom in, enhance,
Google Earth.
enhance,
Google Earth.
enhance. I will tell you, one of the reasons I hate gin is in college, we were having a party and this guy was getting kind of cocky, and I was like, okay, you and me, we're going to kill this bottle of gin. We'll see who's left standing.
Yeah.
Cut to maybe 7 o'clock that morning. We're still up. He's over the railing of my college, the house I rented in college, horking up everything he's eaten since birth, and I'm going to get flappies.
Yeah. 2 extras?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
But I will never be able to drink gin again for the rest of my life.
Oh, see,
Mostly because it's gross.
I did that
And if you
once.
like gin, call Damon.
Yeah. My buddy Dave?
Yeah.
He does. He likes
I
gin a
just-
lot. Yeah.
Ugh.
He'll have a gin. It was gin
Gin
and
and
tonic?
tonic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's just like a 7-Up or a Sprite or something, right? With it or
Tonic water?
Yeah.
I mean, tonic
Or
water
tonic water. Yeah.
is gross,
it's
too.
bubbly water. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it glows in the dark because it has quinine in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yes. If you get tonic water and put it under black light, it'll
Wow.
it'll react.
Well, if the glasses are that clean at your house, everything's going to come out under a black light.
Well, I didn't say
Congratulations.
put it on my sheets.
Wow. Hey, you're going to want to clean that with fire.
Yeah.
Okay, with a flame.
I mean, that is my ultimate plan.
Yeah, you're going to want to clean that with fire. So
Why does he keep stocking up on gas in the basement?
he's going to wash
That's
it with
not-
gasoline
That's
and
not safe.
dry it with a road flare. That seems so weird. Yeah.
Why does he have him keep coming to deliver liquid propane? We don't even have one of those tanks.
So this is, it said it's got an earthy, grassy type flavor. Depending on where we collect the botanicals or which elephants we collect botanicals from, it'll change slightly.
You know what the problem is? Is that these African, right? South African?
Yeah.
These South African daemons don't have a Ted to be like, no, I'm out. There's just a daemon down there being like, I bet we can make booze out of that poop. And there's no Ted to be like, no, we can't.
Dude, it's $34 a bottle.
Wait, are they making money on this?
Yeah, $34 a bottle.
Hold on. Let me go get some raw materials right now.
Yeah. So, again, I just want to tell you how it really frustrates me that you and Mac constantly get on every idea I say. When I say something like this, you're like, oh, this is this is neat.
No,
oh,
you asked me if I wanted to split pets in twain with a water stream. You did not ask me if I wanted to make gin out of elephant poop. We could have talked.
Yeah.
We could have debated ideas on that.
Well, you got to get the poop clean.
To be honest, it's been so long, I don't remember any of your other business ideas. What were they?
Huh?
Because I bet you might be able to circle back around and ask me now, and I'd be like, I'm in on that. And you'd be like, you were out 17 weeks ago.
One?
Huh?
The creepy yoga
Oh, yeah,
one?
you just mentioned that. I already forgot about it. Still way out on that.
Yeah. What about my underage ride share? We should do that one still.
No.
I don't remember that one, but it sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, see?
Barely legal.
Huh?
Barely legal ride share.
Yeah, remember?
Oh.
So they would also
Yeah.
train them to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. No?
I think
No.
it's partially you just don't understand the naming convention.
Was my chloral floral? That was pretty good. You came up with the name for that one.
The names I came up, I'm really on board with. It's the one where you're like, Damon Paracchio presents Barely Legal Driving.
I'm telling you right now, if you Google it, there's nobody doing it. So
Yeah, well,
yeah.
sometimes there's a reason for that.
So well, hey, it was fun to catch up. It was fun to go through the stuff. Now it's fun to give.
Can you
What?
Can you purchase that elephant gin here in America, or is that just
Dude, I swear to God,
do they keep that?
If you spend money on that and don't put $1 in anything I say, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that checks out. You can find us at thatchecksoutwdt. You can find us on all your streaming platforms to listen to this podcast. Please send your ideas, your quips, your sound drops for strange stories, for anything else we do on here. We'd like to also once again say Lori on the podcast. Brian has put a live video up of us, and Damon has totally lost his mind because he can see himself on camera. He is actually a 2-year-old. Once again, that checks out with Damon, Ted, Brian here at Audiohive Podcast Studio with official coffee from 10 Drops Coffee. That checks out.